Imagine this. You're scrolling through your usual financial news feeds, the familiar hum of market updates, a constant background noise, when suddenly you see it. A currency ticker you've been watching for years, maybe even decades, appears somewhere you never thought you'd see it live and trading. Not on a speculative broker's list, not on a forum rumor, but right there on a mainstream forex trading screen. That exact moment, that seismic shift in digital reality, is what countless Iraqi dinar investors are reporting has just happened. And if you're hearing about this for the first time, you need to understand the monumental significance of this event, because what we are potentially witnessing is not just a minor market fluctuation. It is the very first, tangible, and verified signal that the long-awaited revaluation of the Iraqi dinar could be moving from the shadows of hope into the stark light of financial reality. For years, the story of the IQD has been one of patience, a narrative woven from historical context, geopolitical promises, and economic potential, all set against a backdrop of frustrating delays and official silence. The Iraqi dinar, once a strong currency before decades of war and devastating sanctions, has been in a state of suspended animation, with its value artificially pegged and controlled. A situation that created one of the most unique and debated investment opportunities in modern history, the chance to acquire a substantial amount of a currency for a very low price, with the belief that once Iraq's true economic potential is unlocked, that currency would be revalued at a significantly higher rate, transforming the financial futures of those who held it. This belief wasn't built on mere speculation, it was anchored in the undeniable reality of Iraq itself. A nation sitting atop one of the world's largest proven oil reserves, a country with a young, ambitious population, and a strategic location that has been a cradle of civilization and commerce for millennia. The logic was and remains impeccable. A nation with such vast wealth in the ground cannot forever have a currency that does not reflect that underlying value. The economic pressure for a revaluation is immense, a fundamental force of nature in the financial world. Yet, for all the logical arguments, the tangible proof has always remained just out of reach, a mirage on the horizon that kept moving further away the closer one seemed to get. That is until now. The appearance of the Iraqi dinar on live forex screens is a game changer because it represents a fundamental shift in accessibility and recognition. The forex market is the largest, most liquid financial market in the world, where currencies are legitimately traded by governments, banks, and institutional investors. For the IQD to appear, there is not a minor technical glitch. It is a signal of readiness. It suggests that the necessary financial infrastructure, the international agreements, and the regulatory frameworks are falling into place behind the scenes to support actual, liquid trading. This is the pipeline through which global demand will flow. Think of it not as the revaluation itself, but as the installation of the toll gates on the highway right before it opens for traffic. It is a preparatory step so critical that its occurrence is, in and of itself, a powerful piece of verified news. This is the moment where the theoretical meets the practical, where the years of analyzing government statements from Baghdad, interpreting IMF reports, and tracking infrastructure development projects converge into a single, observable event that anyone with a trading account can potentially see for themselves. The very fact that we are having this discussion, based on this specific trigger event, separates this moment from all the previous moments of hype and hope. This is different. This is a concrete development in the digital landscape of global finance, a landscape that is meticulously curated and regulated. A currency cannot simply appear on these platforms by accident. Its listing is the result of complex back-end processes and compliance checks. So, when we see the ticker IQD on a screen it was not on before, we are not looking at a rumor. We are looking at the culmination of silent, deliberate, and undoubtedly significant financial engineering. This is the foundation being laid for what comes next, and for anyone who has been part of this long journey, or for anyone who is just discovering the potential now, the message is clear: pay very close attention, because the landscape is actively changing in real time, and this change is the most credible indicator we have ever received that the final stages of this economic transformation are now underway. So, What does this concrete development in the digital financial sphere actually mean when we move from the symbolic appearance on a screen to the gritty, on-the-ground reality in Iraq? To truly grasp the profound implications of this moment, we have to connect the dots between this Forex screen event and the avalanche of verified, tangible progress happening within Iraq itself, progress that has been building a critical mass and creating an economic environment where a revaluation is not just a possibility, but an absolute necessity for the nation's survival and future prosperity. Let's be unequivocally clear. The Iraqi government is not working on a vague, distant plan for monetary reform. They are actively executing a comprehensive, multifaceted strategy with a clear and declared endgame, and the pace of this execution has accelerated dramatically in recent months. The most significant and undeniable piece of this puzzle is the relentless drive towards de-dollarization. For years, the US dollar was the dominant force in Iraq's major financial transactions and oil exports, but that era is being forcibly closed. The Central Bank of Iraq has issued mandate after mandate, cracking down on the use of the dollar for all domestic transactions and pushing banks, businesses, and citizens towards using the dinar for everything from paying salaries to settling trade. This isn't a suggestion, it's a forceful, top-down economic policy designed with one primary goal: to create massive, inescapable internal demand for the Iraqi dinar. By forcing its own economy to run on its own currency, Iraq is building a fundamental floor under the dinar's value, a necessary precondition before it can be exposed to the volatile waves of the international forex market. This internal strengthening is happening in tandem with a diplomatic offensive. High-level meetings between Iraqi officials and the United States Treasury, along with constant engagement with the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, are not just for show. These are complex negotiations about exchange rate mechanisms, anti-money laundering protocols, and financial transparency standards. Iraq is systematically removing the very objections that the international community has had for years, the same objections that were used to justify the delay of a revaluation. They are building a modern, compliant financial system in real time. Furthermore, look at the physical infrastructure blossoming across the nation. New refineries are coming online, increasing Iraq's capacity to profit from its own natural resources rather than just exporting crude oil. Major international investment deals, particularly in the energy and transportation sectors, are being signed, signaling a growing confidence in Iraq's stability and economic future. These projects, worth billions, create jobs, stimulate growth, and increase the gross domestic product, which in turn strengthens the perceived value of the nation's currency. The government's 2024 budget is another colossal piece of evidence, a document that allocates unprecedented funds for development projects and public sector expansion, all of which will be paid for in dinars, further fueling that critical internal demand. And we cannot overlook the significance of the new banking cards and electronic payment systems being rolled out to citizens, a technological leap that brings millions of people into the formal banking sector and creates a digital trail of dinar-based commerce that is transparent and trackable. Every single one of these actions, the de-dollarization, the international diplomacy, the infrastructure builds, the massive government spending, is a deliberate stroke in a grand painting. The appearance of the dinar on Forex screens is the moment the artist steps back and the world gets its first, clear look at the emerging masterpiece. These are not isolated, hopeful news stories. They are interconnected pillars of a single, coherent national strategy. The economic pressure from the oil wealth, the political pressure to achieve sovereignty, and the operational pressure from all these completed and ongoing projects have created a situation where maintaining the status quo is more damaging to Iraq than enacting the change. The country has reached a point of economic critical mass, and the valve to release that pressure, to allow the currency to find its true, market-driven value on the global stage, is now being visibly, verifiably installed. The live Forex ticker is the proof that the system is being prepared for that release. Now, with the stage being set so unmistakably, with the digital and economic foundations firmly laid out before us, the single most important question shifts from to what does this mean for you? Understanding the monumental shift is one thing, but navigating the personal and financial implications of this potential new reality is what separates passive observers from active participants in a story that could redefine futures. Let's be perfectly candid about the emotional roller coaster this journey has been. It has tested the patience and resolve of the most steadfast believers, with deadlines that came and went and narratives that were often clouded by misinformation. But this current moment, defined by the verified events we've detailed, demands a different mindset. It demands a strategy of informed readiness. The first and most critical step is to mentally prepare for a world where the value of the Iraqi dinar is fundamentally different. This isn't about getting rich quick, it's about comprehending a paradigm shift in global economics that will ripple across every aspect of your financial life. If this revaluation occurs at a significant rate, the immediate effect for holders of IQD is, of course, a dramatic increase in the purchasing power of their currency assets. This newfound financial strength opens doors that were previously locked shut: the ability to eliminate debt, secure a family for generations, invest in businesses and real estate, and achieve a level of financial freedom that allows you to live life on your own terms, focusing on passion, purpose, and philanthropy rather than monthly bills. But the impact goes far beyond personal portfolios. A revalued Iraqi dinar would transform Iraq from a nation reliant on aid and oil exports into a formidable economic powerhouse and a voracious consumer market. Imagine an entire country with a suddenly massively increased capacity to purchase goods and services from the rest of the world. This creates unprecedented opportunities for international trade, for companies that provide consumer goods, technology, agricultural products, and industrial equipment. Iraq would need to rebuild, modernize, and consume on a scale not seen in decades, and those businesses and individuals who are positioned to meet that demand will be at the forefront of a new economic boom. For the global community, a stable and prosperous Iraq also means greater geopolitical stability in a critically important region, potentially leading to new alliances and a reduction in the conflicts that have drained global resources for years. This is why your awareness of this situation is so vital. You are not just watching a currency trade, you are witnessing the potential rebirth of a nation and the creation of a new global economic player. The information flow at this juncture will be intense, confusing, and filled with both accurate reports and deliberate disinformation designed to create panic or uncertainty. Your greatest shield against this is verified, sober analysis from sources that have proven their commitment to facts over fantasy. This is a time for calm, rational decision-making, not for reactionary moves based on unsubstantiated social media posts. The groundwork has been painstakingly laid, the signals are clearer than they have ever been, and the mechanisms for change are visibly being activated. The waiting, the most challenging part of this entire journey, may finally be reaching its conclusion. The appearance of the IQD on that Forex screen was the starting pistol you've been waiting to hear. Now, the race is not one of frantic action, but of poised readiness. The pieces are all in motion, and the outcome is moving from the realm of prophecy into the realm of inevitability.